Let's create and send an invoice in Zoho Books. To begin, navigate to the Sales module and click on Invoices. To add a new invoice, click on the New button in the upper right corner. Fill out the required fields, including the customer name, invoice date, invoice number, and items. To add a customer, click here and select the customer from the list. If the customer is not yet added to Zoho Books, click on New Customer to create one. For this example, we will select an existing customer. Now, update the due date as needed. After that, add an item or product. If the item is not yet added to Zoho Books, click on Add New Item to create one. Alternatively, you can type the product name, and if it already exists, it will automatically appear in the drop-down list. Select the desired item. Upon selecting the item, the quantity and amount fields will be automatically populated based on the item details in Zoho Books. Adjust the quantity as needed, for instance, set it to 5. The total amount will be updated accordingly. If your invoice requires a tax value, click on the tax option and select the appropriate tax type. You can also add a new tax if needed. For this example, select Sales Tax. The tax amount will be automatically added to the total. You will see two options at the bottom, Save as Draft and Save and Send. If you choose Save as Draft, the invoice will be saved in your records as a draft. If you choose Save and Send, the invoice will be sent to the email address associated with the selected customer. Let's proceed with sending the invoice. Click Save and Send, then confirm by clicking OK. You will see a sample email that will be sent to the customer. Finally, click Send. The invoice is now successfully created and sent. Let's create a recurring invoice in Zoho Books. Suppose you have a regular customer who purchases the same products every month. You can use the Recurring Invoices feature in Zoho Books to save time by automating the creation and sending of invoices each month. To create a recurring invoice in Zoho Books, navigate to the Sales module and click on Recurring Invoices. Here, you will see a list of all your recurring invoices. To create a new recurring invoice, click on the New icon in the upper right corner of the screen. The process is similar to creating a standard invoice. Select the customer and add the item details. The key difference is that you will need to enter a profile name. This is a custom name for your recurring invoice. For example, if we select Alexora as the customer, we can name the profile Alex's Monthly Order. Next, set the Repeat Every field to specify how often the invoice should be sent. Click on the drop-down and select Month. You will also need to configure the Start on and Ends on dates. These dates indicate when the recurring invoice will start and when it will stop. If you are unsure of the end date or expect the customer to continue purchasing indefinitely, select Never Expires. Now, add the items to the invoice. Click on the item input box and select the desired product from the list. You can also add a new item if needed or type the product name directly. For this example, we will select an item and set the quantity to 5. Once everything is filled out, click on Save. The recurring invoice is now created. You can verify this by checking your invoice records, where you will see that the invoice for Alexora has been sent. This happened because my preferences for recurring invoices are set to automatically approve and send the invoice after creation. If you selected the option to save the recurring invoice as a draft, you can change this preference by clicking on the Settings icon. Navigate to Sales, and then click on Recurring Invoices. You will see an option called Create, Auto-Approve, and Send Invoice. This setting ensures that recurring invoices are automatically approved and sent upon creation. You can select your preferred option by clicking on it and then clicking Save. Adding discounts to our invoices in Zoho Books. First, let's create an invoice. To create an invoice, click on the Sales module, navigate to Invoices, and click on the New button in the upper right corner. Enter the invoice details. Fill in the required fields and select an item to add to the invoice. To apply a discount, navigate to the bottom section of the invoice where you will see the discount field. You can choose to apply the discount as either a percentage or a fixed amount in dollars. If your discount is a percentage, select the % option. If your discount is a fixed amount, select the $sign option. For this example, we will apply a discount of 5%. Enter a 5% in the discount field, and the discount will be automatically deducted from the total amount. You can see the updated total amount below. Once everything is set, you can proceed to send the invoice. Creating partial payments for invoices in Zoho Books is simple. First, select an invoice to which you want to apply partial payments. Navigate to the Sales module and select Invoices. Look for any invoices that are not yet marked as paid. For example, let's say we choose an invoice from Alex Sora. To apply a partial payment, click on the invoice, then click on the Record Payment button. To apply a partial payment, enter the amount received. For example, enter 100. After entering the amount, click on Record Payment. The payment made will now be reflected on the invoice. Creating advance payments for customers in Zoho Books. First, navigate to the customer records. To do that, click on the Sales module and select Customers. Choose the customer you want to apply an advance payment to. For example, select Aliyah House. Then, click on the New Transaction button in the upper right corner and choose Customer Payment. Enter the amount received from the customer, let's say $150, and click Save. This payment will be recorded as an excess payment, which can be used later when creating an invoice for this customer. Click Continue to save. Next, create another transaction for this customer. This time, create an invoice. Click on the New Transaction button again and select Invoice. Fill in the required details, select an item, and click Save and Send. Click Send to confirm. Now, view the invoice record for this particular customer. You will see an option labeled Credits Available. This is the advance payment we previously recorded. You can apply this advance payment to the invoice by clicking Apply Now. Enter the amount you want to apply to this invoice. For example, if the available credits are $150 and the invoice balance is $50, you can fully pay the invoice by entering $50. Click Apply Credits. The advance payment will now be applied to the invoice. You will see that a payment record has been created under Payments Received. Applying credit notes to invoices. Credit notes are issued whenever an item needs to be returned or has already been returned due to damage or unsatisfactory results. To create a credit note, navigate to the Sales module and click on Credit Notes. Then, click on the blue button in the upper right corner to add a new credit note. Select the customer to whom the credit applies. For example, let's say the customer is Salem Street. The credit note number is auto-generated by default, but you can manually enter it by clicking the gear icon, selecting Enter Credit Note Numbers manually, and then clicking Save. For now, we'll proceed with the auto-generated credit note number. Adjust the credit note date if needed to reflect when the credit note was created. You can also select the salesperson handling the transaction. Next, select the item being returned. For example, if Salem Street ordered black crocheted heart keychains and needs to return 5 pieces, you can enter this information here. You can save the credit note as a draft if you plan to apply it later, or mark it as open, which allows you to apply the credit to an invoice at any time. For now, we'll save it as open and click OK to finalize the credit note. Applying a credit note to an invoice. If Salem Street places another order and you want to apply the credit to the new invoice, follow these steps. First, click Apply to Invoices. Second, a list of available invoices will appear. Enter the amount of credit to apply to the selected invoice. For example, if you enter 20, it will be deducted from the invoice amount and reflected in the invoice balance. Click Save to apply the credit. To check the updated balance, click on the invoice again. If the original amount was $180, applying $20 in credit reduces it to $160. You can also distribute credits across multiple invoices. For example, if you want to apply $10 to each of 2 invoices, the system will automatically deduct these amounts from the remaining credits. Once done, click Save to finalize the application. Now, you have successfully applied credit notes to invoices.